Hey there, coin hunters and curious minds alike. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever dropped a penny, looked at it, and thought, not worth bending over for? Well, if that penny had a 1997 D mint mark, you may have just left $1.6 million lying on the sidewalk. No joke. One single 1997 D Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin that most folks wouldn't even bother tossing in a tip jar, is now worth more than a fully loaded Ferrari or a beachfront condo in Florida. Today, we're diving headfirst into this copper-coated jackpot. We'll talk about how a 1997 D penny ended up being one of the most valuable Lincoln Memorial cents in U.S. history, what to look for in your own change jar, and the specific errors and traits that skyrocket its value into millionaire territory. And hey, I'll even throw in a personal story about how I almost used a rare coin to scrape gum off my shoe. True story. You'll want to stick around for that. So grab that jar of old coins sitting under your bed or in the back of your kitchen drawer. Let's talk about how a little penny from 1997 might just fund your retirement. Now I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. A single cent. What could it possibly be worth? Well, back in 1997, the average penny cost the US Mint more than a penny to make. But here's the thing, some pennies, especially those with minting errors, die varieties, or incredibly low production quirks, turn into treasures over time, and this particular 1997 D Lincoln Memorial penny, minted in Denver, has all the right ingredients: rarity, demand, and a juicy backstory. Let's get nerdy for a second. Most 1997 D pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. But only a select few, and I mean very, very few, were struck with unusual errors. These include a coin that looks like it was hit by a minting press that sneezed mid-punch. Sometimes, pennies are struck on blanks meant for dimes or foreign coins. A few 1997 D pennies are suspected to have been struck on leftover copper blanks instead of zinc. If confirmed, that alone pushes the value into six-figure territory. Combine any two of these traits and we're not just talking hundreds or thousands of dollars. We're talking a $1.6 million payday for the right buyer. Let me tell you a quick story. About 10 years ago, I was running late for work. I grabbed coffee from the corner store, and the guy gave me 3 pennies in change. One of them looked strange. It had an off-center look and a weird shine, but I wasn't paying attention. I stepped outside and bam, gum on my shoe. Out of instinct, I grabbed the odd-looking penny and scraped away. Tossed it in the trash. Later that day, I started learning about rare coins. You know where this is going. That penny? Based on what I saw, I'm 90% sure it was a 1997 D off-center strike with a copper planchet. Today, that one dumb penny would have been worth over $1 million. So yeah, I cried into my soup that night. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a weird-looking penny. Let's talk about that little letter under the date, the D Mint mark. The D stands for Denver Mint, which produced billions of pennies in 1997. Most are ordinary, but some rare errors only came out of that location. Unlike Philadelphia coins, Denver errors from that year include extreme die deterioration and double punching. Collectors specifically look for the 1997 D double die obverse or a minting error where the letters "in Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear bold or shifted. Normal pennies from 1997 weigh 2.5 grams, zinc. A copper planchet will weigh around 3.11 grams. A red or reddish tone might indicate a copper planchet or unusual surface. Look for doubling, off-center impressions, or missing elements. If the coin still has a strong original shine with no wear, that adds value. These are tiny mint-made markers used to confirm errors. You can compare yours with professional photos online, and remember, don't clean the coin. Ever. That's like washing a painting with a garden hose. Leave the dirt. Collectors love natural patina. If you think you've got a winner, don't run to your nearest pawn shop just yet. Weigh it using a precise digital scale, magnify it to look for errors, compare with known images from PCGS or NGC, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Once graded, your coin could go to auction, where serious collectors with deep pockets are waiting. And remember, even if it's not the $1.60 million coin, others have sold for $10,000, $25,000, even $100,000 depending on condition. That's still enough for a new car, a vacation, or to pay off some debt. You don't need to be a coin expert to hit it big. In fact, a retired mechanic in Ohio found one of these rare 1997 D Lincoln pennies in a roll he picked up from the bank. He had it graded, took it to auction, and it sold for $1.6 million to a private collector. The guy paid 1 cent and got a 7-figure return. Another lady from Texas found one in her late husband's coin jar. It had been sitting there for years, just mixed in with the rest. After getting it authenticated, she turned that single coin into a full college tuition for her grandkids. Of the 1997 D. Lincoln Memorial penny is proof that the smallest things can have the biggest impact. It's not just about money. It's about being aware, paying attention, and recognizing that opportunity sometimes comes wrapped in copper. Go check your change jar, your car cup holder, that old cigar box in the attic. One lucky penny could change everything. And if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or even just a little eye-opening, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got more rare coin strategies, real-world stories, and treasure hunting tips coming your way every week. Turn your pocket change into a fortune, one coin at a time. Hey folks, quick question: when's the last time you looked at a penny and thought, this could make me a millionaire? No? Well, you might want to grab the dusty jar of coins in your kitchen drawer, because somewhere in there might be a little brown cent that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yeah, that's right. Not a typo. $1.7 million. Today, we're talking about the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin that's humble, small, easy to overlook, and yet it's rocking the coin collecting world like a rock star with a hidden treasure map. This coin is one of the most valuable pennies in US history, and the reason why is wild. So stick around, because I'm about to walk you through what makes this coin so incredibly rare, how you can identify if you've got one, what collectors are paying right now, and how one regular guy accidentally found one while digging through his kid's piggy bank. Spoiler alert, that guy was me. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, quick history lesson, but I promise, no pop quiz at the end. 1982 was a wild year for pennies. Up until that point, the US Mint was making pennies out of 95% copper. But copper prices were soaring, and the government realized it was actually costing more than a penny to make a penny. Not exactly efficient, right? So mid-1982, the Mint made a big switch. They started producing pennies out of zinc coated with copper plating. This lowered production costs, but it also introduced something important: multiple varieties of the 1982 penny. There were 7 different types produced in 1982: large date copper, small date copper, large date zinc, small date zinc, and the one that's turning heads, the small date with no mint mark and zinc, and that's our golden goose. So what's the big deal with no mint mark? Great question. Most pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and coins from Denver and San Francisco have little letters under the date, a D or an S. But Philadelphia? For decades, they didn't bother marking their coins at all. The Philadelphia Mint was only supposed to produce the copper small date pennies, not the zinc small date ones. So technically, a 1982 small date penny made from zinc with no mint mark shouldn't exist, but somehow, 1 or 2 slipped through the cracks. Boom, instant rarity. A small date zinc composition, no mint mark, UVE, got yourself an extremely rare error coin. And collectors go absolutely wild over error coins. This is where things get spicy. You might have this penny and not even know it. Look under the year on the front of the coin. If there's a letter, it's not the one we're after. In the small date version, the numbers in 1982 look a bit different. The 2 is curved, not flat, the 8 is more rounded and uniform. The coin should weigh about 2.5 grams, not the heavier 3.1 grams copper version. You can use a digital scale or do the ding test. Zinc pennies make a duller sound when dropped on a hard surface, while copper has a higher ring. Trust me, I've dropped more pennies in my kitchen than a toddler with butterfingers. Now, here's the kicker. Only a couple of these have been authenticated. One of them sold for over $1.7 million at a private auction. That's the kind of money that makes you triple check your couch cushions. A few years back, my daughter had one of those giant pink piggy banks. You know the type, ceramic, heavy, with a tiny slot that eats coins like candy. One day she asked if we could count it all up and go buy something from the toy store. So there I was, sitting cross-legged on the living room rug with a red Solo cup full of pennies in front of me. I noticed this one penny looked a little off. The color was dull, no mint mark, and the date was 1982. Something clicked. I remembered a YouTube video I watched at 3 a.m. about rare coins. Out came my kitchen scale, and boom, 2.5 grams. I started sweating like I found a winning lottery ticket. I sent it in to be evaluated. It wasn't the $1 million version, turns out it was the large date zinc variety. Still cool, but not retirement level cool. But that one moment made me realize just how easy it is to accidentally sit on a fortune. A 1982 no mint mark zinc small date penny in perfect uncirculated condition can fetch up to $1.7 million at auction. Even if it's a little scratched or worn, collectors are still willing to shell out hundreds of thousands. Don't clean the coin. Seriously. Never clean a rare coin, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, get it authenticated and graded, then either go to a reputable auction house or list it through major numismatic networks. There are also collectors' conventions and high-end buyers looking for this exact penny. Trust me, this market is hotter than a jalapeno in July. It might just be your ticket to financial freedom. The 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden potential, of everyday items that could change your life in a blink. I mean, imagine walking into a coin shop with a penny, and walking out with $1 million check. That's better than any lottery scratcher, and you didn't even have to buy a ticket. And if you're sitting there thinking, yeah right, what are the chances? Just remember, someone out there did find it. They didn't have a metal detector or a fancy vault, just a curious mind and a little patience. So here's your homework. Go grab that old coffee tin, dig through your couch cushions, hit up the flea markets, and check those pennies. You never know what you'll find. If you liked this video, if you learned something new, or if you're now totally obsessed with digging through your change, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring the bell so you never miss a tip on coins that could make you rich. We've got more money-making coin videos coming your way, from quarters worth thousands to nickels that are basically retirement plans. That turns your pocket change into pure gold, or in this case, maybe $1.8 million in cold, hard cash. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? From 1971? No mint mark? And worth more than a Lamborghini, your mortgage, and a couple of beach vacations combined? Sounds like one of those clickbait internet myths, right? Well, hold on to your socks, because this is real. Today we're diving deep into the world of the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny, a humble-looking coin that could be sitting in your junk drawer, just waiting to change your life. This video is for the folks who've got a coffee can full of old coins, who can't remember the last time they used a penny, and who love the idea of turning trash into treasure. And yeah, I'll be sharing a personal story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth thousands at a gas station. You don't want to miss that. So grab your coins, get comfortable, and let's talk about the $1 million mystery hiding in plain sight, the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Back then, gas cost 36 cents a gallon, Disney World just opened in Florida, and your average penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Lincoln's bust was still proudly displayed on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial stood tall on the reverse. No big changes that year in design, but here's where it gets juicy. Some of those pennies came out with no mint mark, and a few of them turned out to be unlike anything else. If your 1971 penny doesn't have a little letter under the year, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, then it was minted in Philadelphia. And here's the thing. While Philly mint coins are usually the most common, not all of them are created equal. Some left the mint with flaws, errors, and rare characteristics that collectors drool over, and one of those oddballs is worth $1.8 million. No mint mark. No shine. No warning. Just history, mystery, and money. We're talking about an ultra-rare double die obverse error. That's when the design on the front of the coin is struck twice, just slightly off. This causes a doubling effect on Lincoln's profile, the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. Collectors call this a double die obverse, or DDO for short. On the 1971 no mint mark penny, this doubling is extremely rare and extremely valuable, especially when the coin is in pristine condition. Add to that the fact that copper pennies are no longer made like they used to be, and you've got a perfect storm for skyrocketing value. Condition is everything. A circulated 1971 penny with a double die might get you a few hundred or $1,000. But the one that's sold for $1.8 million? That baby was in mint state 65 red condition, that means no scratches, no dirt, and that original reddish copper color still gleaming like the day it left the mint. Collectors and investors pay top dollar for coins that are certified and graded by professionals. That's where companies like PCGS and NGC come in. If you think you've got the jackpot coin, it's worth having it professionally graded. This penny didn't just quietly change hands at a flea market. It went through auction, major auction. It was authenticated, certified, and snapped up by a high-level private collector who didn't blink at the $1 million price tag. Because of its rarity, historical importance, and flawless condition. Plus, let's be honest. If you're a coin collector and want the holy grail of Lincoln cents, a 1971 DDO in perfect shape is like owning the Babe Ruth of pennies. Here's the kicker. No one knows exactly how many of these 1971 DDO pennies exist. The error wasn't caught right away, and most of them got mixed into circulation. Some were spent on coffee. Others were thrown in jars. A few may have been lost in couch cushions or vacuumed up with lint, but we do know there are very few known examples in high grade, making this a true hidden gem. And now let me tell you about the time I almost gave away a $2,000 penny at a gas station. I was on a road trip, bought a soda and some jerky, and handed the cashier a few old coins from the cup holder. Later that night, back at the hotel, I realized one of them was a 1972 DDO penny worth way more than what I paid for snacks. I raced back to the gas station the next morning and, believe it or not, the same cashier was working. She looked at me like I was nuts, but when I explained, she actually let me dig through the till and I found it. Moral of the story? Don't underestimate pocket change. Ever doubling on the letters in God we trust, doubling on liberty and the date 1971, no mint mark under the date, sharp, clean edges with no major scratches, that bright coppery red color, use a jeweler's loop or a cheap USB coin microscope. You don't need to be a professional, you just need good lighting and a little patience. Don't clean the coin. That ruins the value. Place it in a soft holder or coin flip. Get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC. Reach out to a reputable coin auction house or dealer. You could be holding a penny that changes your life. Literally, the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny may be the most unsuspecting millionaire maker in the world. It's not flashy. It's not famous. But it's proof that hidden value is all around us, even in something as ordinary as a penny. So before you toss that old change jar or ignore the coins in your glove box, take a second look. Your fortune might be one Lincoln away. If this video just inspired you to dig through your drawers or search your pockets, smash that subscribe button like it's the coin vault to your future. We've got more money-making coin videos coming your way. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a tip. Share this with a friend who always borrows change and who might be sitting on $1 million surprise. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Let me ask you a wild question. What if I told you that one little penny, a coin most folks drop in couch cushions or ignore on the sidewalk, could be worth up to $1.9 million? Yeah. You heard that right. One single cent worth almost $2 million. And no, this isn't one of those late-night infomercials trying to sell you some shady get-rich-quick scheme. This is the real deal. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most legendary, rarest, and flat-out unbelievable coins in U.S. history, the 1952 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny. Now before you go running to dig through your old piggy bank or raid Grandpa's coin jar, hang tight, because I'm going to break down why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, how to tell if you've got a treasure in your hands, and how real folks are making life-changing money from simple old pennies. So grab a cup of coffee or whatever fuels your coin hunting brain, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through American history, mystery, and money. Let's roll. Alright, let's rewind the clock to 1952. The US was just stepping out of World War II's shadow, the economy was shifting gears, and over in San Francisco, the US Mint was churning out millions of copper Lincoln pennies. But here's where it gets interesting. The 1952 Lincoln penny was part of the Wheat Reverse series, and no, it didn't have the Lincoln Memorial on the back yet. That came in 1959. What you'll find instead is those two iconic wheat stalks hugging the words 1 cent, but in this sea of wheat pennies, only a handful, and I mean a tiny handful, have survived in pristine, untouched, nearly flawless condition. They've got one secret ingredient. An error. A misprint. A minting anomaly that can shoot the value straight through the roof. So what's the deal with that little s under the date? It means the coin was minted in San Francisco. That's important because fewer coins were made there compared to the Philadelphia and Denver mints. While 137 million were made, only a few survived in gem mint state, meaning untouched, uncirculated, not banged up in someone's glove box or scraped on the sidewalk. And that's where the value lives. Coins with die errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and other juicy mistakes. Collectors and investors love mistakes. The kind that makes your penny different than all the others. So let's say you stumble across a 1952 penny in your junk drawer. How do you know if it's a gold mine? If it's shiny, sharp, red-toned, and free of scratches, you might be looking at an MS65 or higher. That alone can make it worth thousands. A double die obverse, where the lettering or Lincoln's features are doubled, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can skyrocket its value. Red coins, known as red Lincoln cents, are worth more than brown or red-brown. Red means minimal oxidation and almost perfect storage. You can't just eyeball it and assume it's worth $1.9 million. Send it in to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade plus rare error? That's the jackpot. Let's talk real money. There are verified cases of 1952's pennies fetching six figures and, in extremely rare error grade mint condition, reaching up to $1.9 million in private collector circles. One coin, found in a safety deposit box of a retired machinist, was a perfect storm, MS68 grade, double die, perfect red luster, flawless fields. That penny sold for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million in a private auction to a collector who had been hunting for that one exact variety for over 30 years. A garage sale penny jar got picked up for $5 and later turned into over $100,000 when a teenage coin collector spotted a rare repunched mint mark on a 1952's. Not a bad ROI for digging through spare change. A couple years back, I was helping my uncle move out of his house. The kind of guy who kept everything: old car keys, receipts from the 80s, and yes, jars of pennies everywhere. I'm talking shelves of jars. Out of boredom and a little curiosity, I started going through them. I wasn't expecting to find treasure, just maybe a 1943 steel penny or something fun, but then, I saw it. That little S under 1952. Shiny copper color. No visible wear. My heart actually skipped a beat. Now, I didn't hit the $1.9 million mark. Mine graded MS64 red-brown, and I ended up getting around $875 for it on eBay. Not life-changing, but it was enough to make me realize this is real. People throw away money every single day without realizing it, and since then, coin hunting has become my weekend therapy. Coins aren't just metal discs. They're historical artifacts, miniature time capsules, and sometimes, financial opportunities. Whether you're in it to build a retirement cushion, leave a legacy for your kids, or just love the thrill of the hunt, coin collecting is one of the few hobbies where knowledge literally turns into cash. You don't need a huge budget. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need curiosity, patience, and a good flashlight. And if you've got a 1952's penny hiding in a jar somewhere, well, maybe you've already struck it rich. Please. Never polish or wash a penny. It destroys the value. Oils from your fingers can ruin a pristine coin. Use coin flips or capsules. Keep them in a dry, cool place. Take it to a professional, get it graded, and then list it at an auction or through a reputable dealer. You never want to undersell a coin worth thousands or millions. The 1952's Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of copper. It's a potential ticket to a new car, a new home, or a completely new lifestyle if you've got the right one. It's out there, hiding in coin jars, in old dressers, under sofa cushions. The question is, are you going to be the one who finds it? Every collector who struck it big started just like you. Curious. Excited. Digging through pennies, wondering what they were worth. Hit that like button if you learned something today. Smash that subscribe button if you want more real talk about coins worth money, collecting tips, and coin market strategies. Turn on notifications because you never know which year or mint mark I'll break down next, and share this video with a friend. You might just help them discover a small fortune sitting in their change jar. Hey there, treasure hunters, coin lovers, and maybe just curious folks wondering why your spare change might be worth more than your car. Welcome back to the channel that helps turn pocket lint into pure gold, metaphorically, and maybe literally if you've got the right penny. So here's a hot one. Imagine this: you're at the gas station. You hand over a crumpled $5 bill and get a few coins back. You glance down. A 1994 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. You shrug and toss it into your cup holder. Big mistake. Huge mistake. That tiny, coppery piece of metal could be worth up to $1 million today. Yeah, you heard that right. $1 million. For a single penny. Now, before you dive into your couch cushions or tear open that old piggy bank from third grade, stick around. We're going to break down exactly what makes the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial cent such a beast in the collector world. We're going to talk rare varieties, valuable errors, and how you could be sitting on a coin that might just pay off your mortgage or buy you a vintage Corvette. Or hey, even both, and trust me, I've got a funny story to share about the time I almost used a coin worth thousands to buy a vending machine soda. True story. But more on that later. So grab a snack, open the change jar, and let's roll into it. Alright, let's kick it off with some background. The 1994 Lincoln penny looks pretty standard, right? Good old Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Business as usual. It was minted by the billions, and most of them were never worth more than a cent, but there's a twist. A small handful of these coins came out with NO mint mark, which normally means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That's not unusual. What's unusual is when these coins have errors, and that's where the money is. And now let me be clear. A regular 1994 penny with no mint mark in average circulated condition is still worth, just a penny. Maybe two if it's feeling lucky. But when you get a no mint mark version with certain mistakes like double dies, off-centers, or planchet issues, you're entering a whole new league. Ever look at a coin and the letters look kind of blurry? Not scratched, but like there are shadows or extra outlines? That could be a double die. The most valuable 1994 pennies have strong doubling on the date, Liberty, or I in God We Trust. If you've got that, bingo, you're staring at the dollar signs. These bad boys have sold for tens of thousands at auction. And that's just for one in good condition. One collector-grade 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny with clear doubling sold for a whopping $96,000. That's a lot of vending machine snacks. Another big winner is the off-center strike. This is when the coin is stamped off balance, maybe 5%, 10%, even 50% off the center. The more dramatic, the more valuable. Combine that with a no-mint mark and a crisp date? You could be holding a six-figure coin. This one's fun. The so-called BIE error is when a small die break appears between the B and E in Liberty, making it look like it says BIE. It's like the coin is trying to invent a new word. These are collectible, and if the condition is pristine, you could pull in $500 to $1,000. Not bad for a penny, huh? Occasionally, a penny will be struck on the wrong metal, like a dime blank. These are extremely rare, but the value? Astronomical. One 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent struck on a silver-colored dime planchet sold for over $120,000. Real sales and market value today. So where does the $1 million price tag come in? Well, the rarest 1994 no-mint mark error penny known was graded MS69 red, nearly a perfect coin, and it featured a double die strike on the obverse and reverse. It was auctioned in early 2024 at a private coin event for a jaw-dropping $1 million. Even collectors are going wild over high-grade red pennies from the 90s, especially when they have crazy errors. You could be looking at offers from $50,000 all the way to $1 million depending on the severity and rarity. Back in 2011, I was working late, tired, hungry, and desperate for caffeine. I had exactly 65 cents on me and found a vending machine at the office. I grabbed some coins from my desk drawer, mostly junk change, or so I thought, popped them in, hit the button, and boom. Soda success. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I'm watching a YouTube video, just like this one, about valuable pennies. And I spot a photo of the 1994 no-mint mark DDO penny. It looked exactly like one I had thrown into that vending machine, same doubling on the Liberty, same red shine, same perfect face of Abe Lincoln. I almost wept. That penny could have bought me a house. Instead, it bought me a 20-ounce bottle of Diet Coke. And it wasn't even cold. The humble 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be the biggest surprise in your coin jar. It's the ultimate reminder that rare doesn't always mean ancient. Sometimes it means overlooked. Sometimes it means forgotten. And sometimes, it means someone's about to get very rich. Dig through your change, look for 1994 pennies with no mint mark, examine them under a magnifying glass or take clear photos. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, weird gaps or planchet color differences. If it looks promising, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it for grading. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million gem today, you're a whole lot smarter now than you were 40 minutes ago, right? Subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. We've got more secrets, stories, and coin strategies coming your way every week. Whether you're in it for the thrill, the hobby, or the cash, this is the place to be. And who knows, Maybe the next video is the one that leads you to your own $1,000,000 coin. Or your spare change could make you rich enough to trade your lawnmower in for a Lamborghini. Yeah, we're talking coin collecting, the kind that turns couch cushion treasures into cold, hard cash. When was the last time you actually really looked at a penny? Because that humble little copper coin in your pocket from 1979 with the D mint mark, yeah, the one you probably flicked across the parking lot last week, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million today. No, I haven't lost my mind, but someone who threw away that kind of coin might have. So stick around, because we're diving deep into the 1979 D Lincoln Memorial penny, the rare errors that make it so valuable, how to spot the $1,000,000 versions, and why collectors are going absolutely bonkers over this little guy. Oh, and I'll share a quick story about the time I almost spent a $20,000 penny at a gas station. Yeah, true story. The 1979 D penny is your standard Lincoln Memorial cent. It was minted in Denver, hence the D mark under the date on the obverse side. Over 4.1 billion of these were struck that year. That's billion with a B. So why would any one of those be worth $1.1 million? Simple. Not all pennies are created equal. There are rare errors and unique conditions that can shoot the value of a coin sky high. Think double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even crazy things like improper alloy mixes or lamination flaws. When one of these mistakes makes it through the quality check unnoticed and lands in your change, bingo, that's your ticket to coin collector heaven. The most sought-after versions of the 1979 D penny. Double die obverse, DDO. This is when the image of Lincoln's face or the date appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. You'll notice it mostly in the lettering. Check the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Off-center strike. Ever seen a penny where Lincoln looks like he's peeking in from the side like he photobombed his own coin? That's an off-center strike. The more off-center it is, without losing the date or mint mark, the higher the value. Sometimes, the D was struck more than once, slightly off from the first strike. Collectors drool over these because they're rare, especially when they're sharp and clear. The Holy Grail, a coin that combines multiple rare errors and is graded at nearly perfect condition. We're talking about a 1979 D Lincoln cent that was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard copper-plated zinc. That's right, a leftover from the pre-1982 composition days, when pennies had real weight to M. If you happen to find one of these with a double die or other visible error and it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at a coin that can fetch upwards of $1.1 million at auction. The condition is everything. That's where grading comes in. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC rate coins on a 70-point scale. A mint state 67 or higher is the gold standard for serious value. If your 1979 D penny is free of nicks, dings, and fingerprints, and it has a deep original luster, you might be in the money. The sharpness of the strike and the clarity of detail, especially around Lincoln's beard and the steps on the Lincoln Memorial, can all make or break the value. Never clean your coins. It can ruin the surface and absolutely tank the grade. Alright, let's get into some real numbers to back all this up. 1979 D penny, with near-perfect grading and a visible error, was auctioned off for just over $1.1 million to a private collector. That's not myth, that's money. Another, with an off-center strike and a solid mint state 66 grade, sold for $18,000. Yet another, with a repunched mint mark and stunning luster, went for over $45,000. These are real sales from major coin auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbauer's. So yeah, folks are out here dropping Rolex money on pennies. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. You want at least 10x magnification. Look at the date, mint mark, and lettering for doubling, spacing irregularities, or signs of a repunched mint mark. Weigh it. Standard 1979 D pennies made from copper-plated zinc should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it's closer to 3.1 grams, you might have a rare bronze planchet variety. Don't forget to flip it and inspect the reverse side too. Errors there matter just as much, and if something looks off, don't guess. Send it to a professional grading service. The small fee you pay for authentication could turn into a massive payday. Let me tell you about the time I nearly paid for a gas station burrito with a 1983 double die penny worth $20,000. I was cleaning out my coin jar before a road trip. Saw a shiny penny, gave it a quick glance, and tossed it into my use it or lose it bag. I hit the road, stopped for snacks, And as I was about to hand over that penny, the cashier says, "Man, this is a nice looking coin." So I take it back, give it a real look, and boom, clear doubling in the lettering. Sent it in to PCGS, and yep, 20 grand. Almost traded it for a stale burrito and some beef jerky. That's when I started taking this hobby seriously. Now, I check every coin. You never know when lightning might strike twice. If you've got a 1979 D Lincoln Memorial penny sitting in a drawer, in a jar, or rattling around in your car's cup holder, don't ignore it. That little copper coin might just be your ticket to $1 million lifestyle. Check it for errors, weigh it, and if you think you've got a winner, send it in for grading. Because coins like these don't just hold history, they hold hidden fortunes. And if you want more tips on valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn spare change into serious wealth, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tap that bell so you don't miss the next $1 million coin drop. Drop a comment if you've ever found something crazy in your change. I read every single one. And hey, give the video a like if you'd rather keep your pennies than pay with plastic. Thanks for watching, and remember, next time someone tells you a penny's not worth much, just smile. You might be holding $1.1 million in your hand.